U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration and Franklin police have arrested 27 people as part of a bust of a major drug trafficking operation.
Picture 3 a.m. in Los Angeles. Thick fog covers the city, streets silent except for wind whistling through port cranes. Unbeknownst to anyone, over 1,300 federal agents are quietly positioning for California's largest raid to dismantle the Rancho San Pedro gang's empire. For decades, they've used the port as a smuggling hub for drugs and weapons. Soon, 80 simultaneous arrests will occur, 230 leaders indicted, and the network will collapse overnight. Curious about the secrets of Operation Pirate Town that changed San Pedro? Watch the full video now. Like if it's mind-blowing, share with friends, comment on federal anti-gang efforts, and subscribe with notifications for more untold stories. It's 3 in the morning in Los Angeles, the city blanketed in dense fog, with amber streetlights diffusing a soft, eerie glow across the utterly empty streets. Nobody suspects that, at this very moment, over 1,300 agents and officers from various federal and local agencies are silently assembling, gearing up for the biggest raid ever launched to take down California's most powerful organized crime syndicate. In just a few hours, the entire hidden empire of the Rancho San Pedro gang will come crashing down. Operation Pirate Town launched in the pre-dawn darkness, with 80 simultaneous arrests sweeping across the city on that pivotal morning in 2011. Altogether, more than 230 people faced charges, the result of almost 3 years of exhaustive investigation involving covert wiretaps, undercover transactions, intensive surveillance, and airtight federal indictments. Everything converged in this defining strike, bringing down a criminal empire that had thrived for decades. San Pedro serves as the southern gateway to the Port of Los Angeles, dominated by towering cranes that pierce the sky, endless stacks of containers rising like vast steel mountains, and the constant thunder of diesel engines rumbling around the clock. This vital lifeline stands as America's premier logistics hub, yet it's also a tangled hotspot for cross-border crime, where the Rancho San Pedro gang, widely known as RSP, forged a cunning and deadly empire dating all the way back to the 1970s. RSP traces its origins to the Rancho San Pedro Public Housing Project, a weathered complex of 478 units perched along the coastline, where it began as a neighborhood gang defending Mexican-American territory. Over the decades, however, it evolved into a highly organized criminal enterprise boasting roughly 500 members divided among 6 distinct cliques, including 2 all-female sets. The gang answered directly to the Mexican mafia, which orchestrated operations from behind prison walls, collecting regular taxes in return for ironclad protection. Violence served as RSP's primary weapon for holding on to power, through brutal retaliatory attacks that claimed lives and relentless intimidation of locals, trapping the whole community in a perpetual grip of fear and unease. The Port District lived under constant tension due to the gang's dominance, plagued by relentless killings and an endless flood of drugs and firearms. RSP went far beyond ruling the streets. It emerged as a vital cog in the global smuggling network. They smuggled heavy firepower, AR-15 rifles, Glock pistols, full-auto machine guns, and silencers, alongside ultra-pure methamphetamine, fentanyl-spiked heroin, cocaine, and a steady stream of other narcotics. Money poured south across the border, while weapons flowed north, feeding the ruthless Mexican cartels directly. For years, San Pedro residents endured life in the shadows, children too terrified to play outdoors amid the constant threats, and neighborhood businesses shaken down through relentless extortion. It all began with an intelligence tip about a major shipment of serious firepower slipping through the port. Not ordinary pistols, but assault rifles, short-barreled handguns, machine guns, and silencers, all headed straight to the cartels south of the border. The report landed quickly with investigators who knew the docks inside out, igniting an extraordinary partnership across multiple agencies, unlike anything seen before. The investigation kicked off under the ATF and LAPD, driven by a clear mission to curb the relentless violence gripping San Pedro. As evidence soon uncovered extensive cross-border operations, additional agencies wasted no time joining the effort. The FBI activated its elite violent gang task force, zeroing in on the group's hierarchy and deep connections to the Mexican mafia. Meanwhile, the DEA meticulously examined drug samples to trace their sources straight back to the powerful cartels. HSI brought its deep expertise in cross-border crime to the forefront, playing a crucial role in mapping the relentless flow of weapons and drugs through the port of Los Angeles, one of the busiest global gateways. Local LAPD units supplied vital ground-level intel, uncovering hidden hangouts and decoding the gang's intricate internal power structure. This seamless collaboration forged a formidable and unstoppable investigative web. For nearly 3 years, surveillance teams shadowed every RSP member throughout the Port District and surrounding neighborhoods like Wilmington and Harbor City, eventually extending their reach across broader stretches of Southern California. They meticulously documented every move, every shady encounter. Undercover agents executed a string of clandestine purchases, buying firearms and narcotics straight from the gang's operatives to secure ironclad proof. Court-authorized wiretaps went live, recording thousands of hours of unguarded conversations. The intercepted calls openly covered street prices for black market drugs, timelines for massive weapons shipments, orders for violent confrontations, and chilling plots to take out rivals or impose brutal internal discipline. Investigators painstakingly transcribed and dissected every word, piecing together a comprehensive portrait of the entire organization. Federal prosecutors wielded the RICO Act, the powerful statute crafted to dismantle organized crime syndicates, the very law that once crushed the notorious Italian mafia families. RSP faced charges as a full-fledged criminal enterprise, complete with a rigid leadership chain stretching from prison cells to the streets, distinct roles assigned to members, and enormous profits fueled by relentless violence and cross-border smuggling. As investigators pressed further, they uncovered that RSP had far surpassed mere street-level dealing. They were orchestrating drug distribution on a massive industrial scale. Ultra-high purity methamphetamine sourced directly from cartel super labs, fentanyl adulterated heroin so dangerously potent it carried grave lethal threats, and uncut cocaine flooded their pipelines. DEA laboratory analyses verified that the exceptional quality of these narcotics was tailored for a vast, sophisticated professional network. The underground value of these shipments soared into tens of millions of dollars annually. ATF agents meticulously traced serial numbers from firearms seized in violent crimes throughout the Southwest, with trails leading straight back to legal straw buyers in California. These front purchasers passed the weapons to RSP operatives who smuggled them south across the border in return for massive new shipments of narcotics. The cross-border network was unmistakably clear, stretching from Los Angeles through Tijuana to Ensenada and beyond. Ex-members of RSP worked closely with authorities, offering in-depth testimony about the unknown leaders, hidden stash houses, strict internal protocols, and the daily workings of the operation. Some shared accounts of firearms being smuggled south, while others detailed how drugs were repackaged for mass distribution. Do you stand behind this fight to dismantle these cartels? If so, comment 2. If not, comment 5. Over time, a comprehensive organizational chart was developed, complete with names, clearly defined roles, and interconnected evidence. By the end of 2010, the federal indictment was meticulously sealed, naming more than 230 individuals facing serious charges, including conspiracy to traffic firearms, large-scale drug distribution, and violence in support of racketeering. Numerous leaders were confronted with life sentences without the possibility of parole, accompanied by widespread gang injunctions that prohibited RSP members from assembling in safety zones across much of San Pedro. Civil lawsuits were filed against property owners who permitted criminal activity on their land, intensifying the pressure from all sides. The climax arrived at 3 a.m. on the fateful day of the raid. The Federal Command Center operated seamlessly as leaders finalized the last details of the synchronized operation with flawless precision. 80 high-priority targets were meticulously identified, scattered throughout San Pedro and its neighboring areas. SWAT teams from various agencies were poised to strike, with armored vehicles lined up in perfect formation and helicopters hovering above, monitoring every movement. Over 1,300 personnel from ICE, FBI, ATF, DEA, LAPD, Port Police, and additional supporting units were mobilized, forming a powerful force capable of securing the entire vast area. The execution orders were transmitted simultaneously over the secure communication system. A final meticulous systems check was performed, ensuring GPS routes were locked in with no room for error. As the first light of dawn pierced through the towering port cranes, the teams moved into position, quietly but with unwavering resolve. The quiet morning was abruptly shattered as doors were obliterated by powerful blows, the sound of battering rams reverberating through the neighborhood. Flashbangs detonated, flooding the decaying apartment buildings with blinding light and deafening explosions, escalating the tension. Commands rang out through the dark hallways as suspects were pulled from their beds, handcuffed and marked with red laser dots on their chests to prevent any resistance. A few attempted to flee down back alleys only to run straight into the outer perimeter blockade. Most surrendered without hesitation, overwhelmed by the sheer force of the law enforcement operation. Evidence collection teams meticulously scoured every hidden corner, uncovering weapons concealed in ingenious spots: Glocks, AR-15s, shotguns, and fully automatic machine guns. Some of these firearms were tied to cold murder cases or recent illegal shipments. Drugs, including methamphetamine, fentanyl-laced heroin, and pure cocaine, were found in secret compartments. Phones buzzed incessantly with messages for orders and encrypted money transfers. Stacks of cash were hidden behind false walls, alongside detailed ledgers documenting money laundering and hand-drawn charts outlining the gang's structure. Every meticulous detail strengthened the RICO charges against Rancho San Pedro, RSP, cementing it as a highly organized and systematic criminal operation. By mid-morning, the majority of the 80 primary targets had been successfully apprehended with no significant injuries reported. At noon, a formal press conference was held for the public and the media, showcasing seized weapons stacked high and drugs displayed clearly on tables. The RSP organizational chart was projected in full, complete with the names of key leaders. Officials highlighted the seamless coordination between agencies and the unwavering dedication throughout the nearly 3-year investigation. This operation delivered the most crushing blow ever inflicted on the largest gang in San Pedro, an organization that had instilled fear in the community for 4 decades. Officials announced that RSP had received a fatal strike. Its leaders were behind bars and its entire network had been dismantled. In the weeks that followed, federal and state courthouses were crowded with defendants. Many gang members swiftly accepted plea deals, hoping for reduced sentences. However, the evidence was undeniable. Hours of wiretap recordings, undercover transaction footage, reliable inside informants, and meticulously traced physical evidence left little room for defense. DEA drug investigations, extensive surveillance, and intricate financial trails all converged to create a flawless, airtight case, one with no gaps, resulting in a series of severe sentences for the crime bosses, ranging from 5 years to life without parole. These cases marked a pivotal moment in the effort to dismantle the criminal networks in San Pedro. Residents began to experience a genuine shift as gang violence plummeted for the first time in years. Children could once again play outside safely, and local businesses were able to operate without the constant threat of violence. Even with this victory, law enforcement remained vigilant. They understood that power vacuums could quickly be filled by rival organizations if pressure wasn't continuously applied. Patrols were increased and community outreach programs were launched to foster trust and strengthen connections with residents. Initiatives to support vulnerable young people were expanded significantly to keep the upcoming generation from sliding into criminal paths. The community rallied with real enthusiasm, launching sports programs, learning opportunities, and employment options, all designed to close the gap that gangs had once taken advantage of. The sustained presence of local police and federal agents has been key to preserving peace in the San Pedro neighborhood, a peace that started out shaky but has grown increasingly solid over time. The real impact of Operation Pirate Town stems from its bold disruption of the smuggling corridor snaking through the port of Los Angeles, a massive hub that processes billions of dollars in legal cargo annually but had been brutally hijacked by criminal networks. Rancho San Pedro, RSP, served as a vital nerve center for the trafficking of drugs and firearms, powering the growth of larger syndicates. This effort showcased the sheer effectiveness of tight collaboration among agencies, including the LAPD, ATF, DEA, HSI, and FBI. Tightly coordinated agencies have forged an unstoppable alliance that most criminal syndicates simply can't survive. The gang in San Pedro has taken a devastating blow, with its leaders staring down lengthy prison sentences and their entire operation ripped to shreds. Hundreds of illegal firearms have been confiscated and key drug smuggling channels shattered, sharply cutting the flow of fentanyl into neighborhoods. Thanks to these efforts, San Pedro residents can finally exhale in relief, looking toward a brighter, safer tomorrow for their kids with far less threat of gang violence. Redevelopment efforts for the Rancho San Pedro housing community have been pushed forward with fierce determination and are still gaining momentum, turning a former stronghold for criminal groups into a far safer place to live. That said, agents stay sharply alert, fully aware that taking down one gang is just a short-term win in the endless fight against transnational organized crime. Continuous teamwork, fresh intelligence updated every day, and relentless enforcement actions remain crucial to shielding the neighborhood from new dangers. The biggest takeaway from Operation Pirate Town is the unmatched strength that comes from seamless coordination across law enforcement agencies. No lone player, be it the FBI, ATF, DEA, or LAPD, could have single-handedly taken down a sophisticated criminal empire like the one rooted in Rancho San Pedro with its far-reaching transnational ties and ironclad inner structure. It was only through pooling their intelligence, resources, and specialized skills that they landed a crushing defeat, finally restoring peace to a neighborhood gripped by fear for decades. This stands as a powerful reminder that when battling organized crime, true and enduring success hinges on unity and relentless interagency partnership. The key lesson from Operation Pirate Town is the unparalleled power of seamless collaboration among law enforcement agencies. No single entity, whether the FBI, ATF, DEA, or LAPD, could have dismantled a complex criminal syndicate like the one based in Rancho, San Pedro, with its extensive international connections and rigid internal organization. Only by combining their intelligence, resources, and expertise did they deliver a decisive blow, bringing long-awaited peace to a community terrorized for decades. This serves as a stark reminder that defeating organized crime requires unwavering unity and strong interagency cooperation. What's your take on federal agencies taking on street gangs? Can local police manage, or do the FBI, ATF, and DEA need to step in for these complex, often international networks? Share your thoughts below. I'll read and respond to as many as I can. If you found this story interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes stories. See you in the next one!